What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Noob. And after a long time of all the fans asking, requesting, demanding it, finally, DC is going to be making a Static Shock movie. It has finally come into the news that Static Shock will be getting its own DC movie, probably live action, and what the news that we got was there is a production company that's going to be taking it, and it's got the name of an actor who I put all my faith in. Michael B. Jordan. Yes, Michael B. Jordan, the one who you might know as Apollo Creed, Killmonger, Johnny Storm in that very bad remake of the Fantastic Four. His production company has taken on the role of being the producing company of this movie. Now, if you're too young or old enough but still don't know the character of Static Shock, let me break it down to you. Static Shock is a comic book based off of a character named Virgil Hawkins. He eventually takes on the name of Static. See, he used to go to high school when he was very young with his friend Richie, who eventually will become a superhero called Gear. One day, while having to deal with these two gangs, because the school he went to was kind of troublesome, one gang was trying to bully him, the other gang saved him trying to recruit him. Cops showed up to try to break up this gang warfare fighting or whatever it was. In the process of trying to break them up, there was for some reason some chemical container around them and it exploded. Now the chemical, once it exploded, it spewed out all over the place. It covering a lot of the kids, the few of the adult police officers were there, and everyone's scattered because, you know, explosions, cops, blah, 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 blah. Later on, you come to find out that this chemical kind of affected most of the kids. They gave them superpowers. This basically made them what a lot of people refer to as metahuman powers. Now, some of the gang members, especially the bad ones, they eventually went on to be supervillains. Our boy Virgil, he actually gained the ability to manipulate electricity and magnetism, so he decided to take on the role of a superhero, and he became what was known as Static or Static Shock. Richie was there as well. Later on, it takes him a while for some strange reason, but later on, he eventually gains what I call basically the DC's version of a young Iron Man. Super intelligence, would make a lot of the gear that Static would use, and eventually his own suit, I'll say. It was kind of like a high-tech boots, backpack, gloves, helmet. Wasn't quite Iron Man. More like the budget version of Iron Man, but still. He was very intelligent and very useful in the thing. I have always been a big fan of Static Shock. I remember watching it back when the DC was on the WB, and we had shows like Batman the Animated Series, The Adventures of Superman, The Justice League, and Static Shock came around, which kind of aimed more towards the younger demographic. Now, Static Shock did have crossovers with the Justice League of its time, which was very good, and I love the way that did that. It has been a long time coming for Static Shock to have its own movie. Now, with Michael B. Jordan taking over the production of this with his company, I am actually very thrilled. You see, Michael B. Jordan is a very big fan of comic books. He's even a fan of some animes and cartoons. In fact, if you don't know, he did the voice of one of the 5 main characters in the Rooster Teeth show, Genlock. So to see him doing another superhero movie and taking the reins of it, I am so happy about this. There is one thing that I do hope that they put into this movie. In fact, there is one actor that they have to have in this movie in some capacity. Phil LaMarr. See, Phil LaMarr was the voice actor behind the voice of Virgil. And some of you may know him as the voice of Samurai Jack. And I think his name was Kit in the Star Wars animated series. The alien with the dreadlocks or the tentacles or whatever it was. So I want to see him in there in some capacity. Honestly, in my opinion, if you're going to have him in there and it's going to be live action, let's make him the dad. Because Virgil lived with his father and his sister. Unfortunately, the mom wasn't there because she had died in gang violence, getting stuck between gang violence. So I would love to see Phil LaMarr maybe take on that father role because I'm sorry, anyone who could do the voice of Virgil, Samurai Jack, oh, and John from Justice League, the Green Lantern, I think we need to have him in there. I'm sorry, if you're going to have any homage to the original animated series, Phil Lamar would be the biggest homage in there. Plus, I've met this man, and he is by far one of the most kind people I have ever met. He talks to everyone. If you ever get a chance to meet him whenever conventions go back, go meet this man. He will shake your hand. He will talk. He enjoys the conversation, and he gave out hugs and selfies like it was free water. So I want to see this man in this movie if they can. Now, as of right now, there isn't much news anywhere else. It's just that the production company has been announced. Yes, they're going to do a movie, but so far, no director, no actor, no setting, no time frame has come out, which is okay, especially with the virus that's happening around. We can give them a little chance to figure out what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and Static Shock is one of those shows that if you are a 90s kid, you really want them to do well on this. Now, what does this mean for the DC movie universe? I'm not totally sure. Something tells me that this is going to come out after the supposed Flashpoint movie, which is when, if rumors are true, the universe is going to reset. Kind of like when they did the Big 52 or whatever it was. And DC has done a lot of resets, but this is supposedly going to do something along the lines of that. The whole Flashpoint where he goes back, changes the past, and shit happens. So something tells me that maybe this will come in afterwards and be part of that universe. If they don't make it part of a separate universe like they're doing with The Batman and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, which I'm okay with if they did that. Now, what do you think about this news? Yes, Static Shock was aimed for the younger demographic, although in certain comic books and some animated things, he was an older version of him, but something tells me they're going to stick with the younger versions. Are you perhaps interested in that? Would you like to see the whole origin stories of Static Shock? Or would you rather maybe see an older version of him that's already done the whole, origin story, come to terms with his powers, yada, 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 yada? I personally would rather have the whole origins thing because I would love to see who they're going to play Static Shock, because Static Shock is one of those very iconic figures. You gotta have a young African-American, has to have the dreadlocks. I'm sorry, we can't have short hair, funny hair, no. He has to have dreadlocks, like in the comics and in the cartoon, because that's how he looked. Well, folks, that's my thoughts on the Static Shock movie announcement with Michael B. Jordan taking the reins. Now, what about you? Do you think that Michael B. Jordan is a good fit as a producer? Do you worry because he unfortunately had that one crappy Fantastic Four movie? Or are you good because he was Killmonger and you know he's going to be done right? Let me know in the comments below. And in fact, if there is a comic book character that you have not seen on the big screen, let me know. Let me know who you want to see in movies or in television, because I might want to talk about it. And hey, if it's a character I don't know, I want to research it. Folks, I'm the Noob. Thank you for listening to me babble, and I hope y'all have a good evening. See ya!